Hello and welcome to Quid I'll Continue Pub News. This week, well, there's been some new games announced, hasn't there? Which quite exciting games. Should we start with your favourite, Jack?
Yeah.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex. I've not been this excited ever. So
ever.
So they finally announced the latest Deus Ex installment.
Mankind Divided. It sounds like a Smiths album or something, doesn't it?
Meat is murder, by the way. That's the subtext of this game.
So there's a token veggie on the table.
Yeah, Morrissey's actually written it. It's very dour.
You don't even leave your room. You just sit there like in darkness.
Yeah, and listen to the Smiths songs relentlessly.
That's my teenage years summed up in a nutshell. So yeah, I really enjoyed the last Deus Ex game and the original Deus Ex game. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm not quite sure. It looks like it's going to be very similar to the last one. It doesn't look like a massive departure, but I've got no problems with that.
It's the same guy, isn't it? The same lead character, isn't it?
Jensen or Jensen, and maybe he's Norwegian or something.
Jensen.
Swedish.
Like a motocross driver, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful facial hair, much like yourself, Andy.
Yes, he is a bearded man. I've joined the ranks of bearded men. I'm not in Deus Ex, by the way. I do like the Smiths, though, so it's just a little rundown on me.
Your little profile.
Yeah. Profile page.
It uses the Illuminati, apparently, which is very original for a video game.
About time they made an appearance somewhere.
Has he got any zombies in it?
God, I hope so.
Mechanized zombies, maybe.
Has he got Jurassic Park dinosaurs? Because that is quite important for us.
It does not have dinosaurs. It says it continues from where human, whatever the hell it was called, Revolution, Human and Revolution leaves off, which actually then is a bit of a spoiler if you've not played that game, but I suppose they can't avoid that if they're doing a direct sequel.
Yeah, although there's 3 endings at the ending of that end of that game, so I don't know how they're going to work that out.
You said you beat that game without killing anybody.
Yeah, I did a no-kill run.
Did you get a
Yeah, I got a trophy for it. Only in my mind though.
The game ends with ding, 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 ding.
Next time on Deus Ex.
So
Little
man,
Mo's just out there. Jason, come here.
that'd be great if like
What's his name again? It's not Jason, is it? It's Adam.
Adam, yeah. Oh man, he's down the Queen Vic getting his orgs. That'd be brilliant.
So the one thing they need to fix for me is they had those ridiculous boss fights in the
Oh,
original
yeah.
one, and I went down like the really stealthy route, so my character was like pretty weak but was sneaky, so you could stab people in the back, but of course you can't stab the bosses in the back and one hit kill them.
Yeah.
So basically by the time I got around to the particularly tank-like boss, I couldn't damage him because I didn't have any like big weapons or anything, so all my augments, as they call them, were like a different path. So it's because they farmed out the boss fights from another studio, I think, so then they just spliced them in and then it kind of wrecked the balance of the game.
They can't make that same mistake
No.
twice because so many people complained about it, and it did. The thing is, you could be a ghost for the whole game, just sneaking through the whole level. Yeah, then like you say, I think there were 3 or 4 boss fights where it's just like
Yeah, they forced you. You couldn't avoid it. You had to do the boss fight.
big arena, massive bloke, kill this bloke. It's like, well, that's not the way I've been playing.
We've talked about this before, haven't we? But boss fights, I just find them so boring these days.
Speaking of which, playing the Order last night.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's some terrible ones in that.
Boxing werewolves. That's what I like. I like boxing werewolves.
Werewolves. That's another Morrissey album, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unboxing
That's a
werewolves.
B-side.
Unboxing werewolves.
Oh, unboxing. like an unboxing video of a werewolf. Just rips your face off.
So at least with the Order, the boss levels, they're easy. They're easy boss fights.
Yeah.
Like, I always find, well, certainly just, let's just say I'm not playing Bloodborne. I haven't got to a boss yet.
Just about the same mid-level guy.
But I saw some footage on YouTube of someone getting there. And yeah, you sort of hammer in a massive attack and you see the smallest bit of health come off and you think, oh my god, it's just like staring up a mountain. It's just, and I always get a bit fed up by it, especially after you die for the maybe second or third time. I'm not sure how many times I died.
On Quit I'll Continue, it's not about how far you get, it's about taking part, isn't it?
That's right, I've definitely taken part a few times.
We're all winners here. We're all winners here. Not really.
Alright, other game news. Well, Name news. Black Ops 3 has kind of been announced. That's another announcement. They're doing this ridiculous thing where they've replaced some of the poster art on Black Ops 2 maps with these new things. They've got little Snapchat icons, and you can scan them in to use some magical jiggery pokery, and you get like these little trailers that look a bit like the trailers in Ring to me, you know, where you've got like those weird little like hazy kind of jagged edged little bits of footage. And I mean, if it's in Black Ops 2, there's obviously going to be a Black Ops. Well, there's obviously going to be a new Call of Duty at the end of this year. We don't know if it's going to be Black Ops 3 yet. It's looking pretty much banker.
It might not
Banker that it's
be.
going to be. Yeah. So, I
Could there
mean,
be a new Call of Duty this year, guys?
I don't know what. Do we care about Call of Duty? Would we cover that in a Quit or Continue? Do you
I
think?
played Black Ops 2 in French, and I don't speak French, so I've got no idea what that game was all about.
What's it called in France then? Black Ops 2.
Le Petit Black Ops.
Noir.
Noir Obscure. 5 years of French wasted.
Noir.
I mean, they all play pretty the same, don't they? Really, it's. I think once you play one, you play the other. They're pretty entertaining. I enjoyed playing them. I usually pick one up for like 10 quid, get rid of it.
Do you play like mainly the single player game, or do you play?
Occasionally I'll go in the multiplayer, die about 1 million times in 5 minutes, and then go, well, this has made me feel good.
Yeah, I always think that's quite annoying because I swear I used to be good when Call of Duty. What's the one
Modern
that?
Warfare.
Yeah, Modern Warfare. Sorry, Modern Warfare 2. Used to play that online quite a lot, especially with mates, and I thought I was relatively good. And then I hadn't played Call of Duty for ages. Got Ghosts with my PS4. Went on to multiplayer of that. Dead.
It's so quick,
this is ridiculous.
It's so quick, I just can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Snipers, isn't it? Snipers camping, bang, right in the head.
Yeah,
right in
and
the
I just
head,
think
right
that
in
I
the
don't
head,
understand why people find this fun anymore. It's just like, yeah. It's a bit
Oh,
tough.
okay, we're not. It's alright. No, we're okay, thanks. We just have the drinks. Thank you very much.
Guest speaker there.
Yeah, there you
on the
go.
We are actually in a pub.
background.
We all got burgers and like made everyone who was listening to it hungry. But actually, what we should have done. Juicy burger.
We should just keep that in, shouldn't you? Like, we're actually going to order lunch now, guys. So tweet us with what we should own.
But, yeah, going back to Call of Duty, I think I'm one of the few people who just plays it for the single player campaign. I've got like Call of Duty games that I never played online, just because it just doesn't appeal to me.
It doesn't that now show that Call of Duty is a bit shit? Because I thought, certainly Ghosts. I mean, I know that was received relatively badly anyway, but I started playing single player on this. This is shite.
It's got a dog. There's a dog.
It does have a dog in it. Great.
It's probably just fatigue, isn't it? I mean, they come out every year. People are just getting bored of it. I imagine that's all.
But the thing is, though, I mean, Modern Warfare 4, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare kind of reinvigorated it. No, the number 4 was like the one that really invigorated. Took it out of the Second World War. The PS2 one, so that one really kind of kick-started it. And ever since then, it's just kind of mined the throw, and they've taken it into the future. But it's still the same game. But the thing is, like, it's what people want, isn't it? I mean, it's like it's all very well for us to say, oh, it should be a completely different game. But it's like, well, why would you do that when you make money out of it every year?
There are some gamers who are, I don't know, like that's the stupid term gamers, but there are some people who literally every year they just buy Call of Duty and FIFA, and that's what they're happy enough to buy, and that's where Activision and EA make probably the lion's share of their money. And then there's all these other people making the likes of Shovel Knight, and that, no one's playing that apart from us dedicated lot who are into games in like a bigger way. So
I mean, it's like, do you expect? Each year there's going to be a blockbuster movie, and some of them are going to be fucking terrible, and some are going to be all right, and each iteration is going to be either good or bad. If you don't like it, just don't go and watch it. I just don't bother buying Call of Duty games day and date. It's not worth it.
Do you think there'll be as many Call of Duty games as there are James Bond films? I'm trying to think of like
probably already are.
because I'm trying to think of
3 Bonds, I think.
probably if you include like mobile and handheld versions.
Probably. It's not far off.
So I'm just trying because like films tend not to come out every year. I'm trying to think of long-running series.
So you got Marvels. So there's usually 1 or 2 Marvel movies come out every year.
That's true. You got like
there's usually a superhero movie every year, isn't there? It's usually a shit Sly Stallone movie every year.
When you think of it like that, they are our equivalent in the games industry of blockbusters. So why not? I don't know. They're not doing anyone any harm. They're just
I don't think there shouldn't be any expectation from people who are actually interested in different games. I do find it amazing how well they get reviewed, though. I always find that.
It's because a standard 9 every time, aren't they?
Yeah, and I just think, I haven't played Advanced Warfare, so I can't really comment, but from what I've seen, a lot of people are quite shocked at how well that's been received, because it just seems like generic.
It's a
But,
difficult one. Like from my experience of reviewing Call of Duty games, and you go to this event, they put you up in a beautiful 5-star hotel, you play the game for 3 days straight, like night and day, and you've got like a little bit in the downstairs area of the hotel where you can play the multiplayer with other people, like live over a net, like completely just sit next to them and play those people you sat next to, and it's obviously really good because you're yammering back at each other and stuff. And then you can go up to your room and you've got the solo player bit of the game just there. You can play that in your room with like whatever you want out of the minibar and all that sort of bollocks. And it's no wonder when you've got that kind of like Activision can just go, right, you've all this stuff, and you kind of almost feel a lot like almost obliged to not say it's a bag of shite at the end. I don't know.
I think one year they like helicoptered in all the journalists. Like, I mean,
like parachuting.
go. Well, there was a famous story, wasn't it, of Pearl Harbor, which was one of the shittest movies ever made, and they did a screening. The only screening was of selected journalists on an aircraft carrier with the thing, and it was just a load of people said at the time, the more effort they make, the bigger the pile of crap they've got. And the more they try and hold reviews back, the bigger the pile of crap they know they're sitting on. And for Call of Duty, they don't even need to bother with that. They could put out a pile of crap and they'll still sell half a billion.
It doesn't matter. I mean, because most of the people who buy it, they've not even read a games review. They don't look at IGN or anything. They don't look at anything.
It's a name, it's a brand. It's like, it's a shoe, it's a cake. It's a cake shoe. Nobody's going to get that joke.
Let's move on. I would like to just finish by saying the abbreviation for Black Ops is BLOPS, which sounds like something that you kind of get when you've eaten too much curry or something. Anyway. So finally on the game's announcements, we go to delays. So Zelda for the Wii U has been delayed until like next year. It doesn't really matter to any of us because we have too many games to play anyway. And I might as well, if Zelda's going to come out once every 5 years, I might as well get it right. Yeah. But what does it mean for the Wii U? It's kind of killed it.
God, that thing looks like a dead console walking, doesn't it? Really.
They had an announcement last week, didn't they? On April 1st, they had like a Nintendo announcement where the stuff they announced was just so crap. It was 90% amiibos, which is where they're making the mega bucks now.
Yeah.
And
got to collect them all.
Well, no, you haven't. You haven't got to collect one. And I think the one game they announced was, or like one of the few games, was something like Animal Crossing house decorating game with amiibo support. So that's good news.
Animal Crossing First Home. He's getting started home. Oh, we're so burdened with debt.
Exactly. You've got to go and visit Tom Nook, your bank manager. But
Made redundant.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with at E3 because I feel like they've literally got nothing on the cards at the moment.
They've got Star Fox, haven't they? I think
they've got Star Fox. They've not really shown much of it. It was just Miyamoto kind of going, we're going to do a Star Fox, but we need a developer to come in and build it for us. So that's the last thing we've seen. That was about a year ago.
Does anyone know anyone that can make a game for us?
God
Yeah.
almighty.
So I mean, to me, there's only a couple of solutions to this. They need like a brand new Mario that's a bit like Mario Galaxy. It could be Mario Galaxy 3. It could be something completely different and amazing. Or like a Metroid. They've not visited Metroid for a long time. The last game was a bag of, talking of bags of shite. It was a bag of shite, really. Too much emotion. You ever, like the whole thing with Samus talking, she's like, oh God, that was when I knew my heart was breaking. And you're just like, what the hell is going on here? This is so stupid.
They're in the middle. They're in a holding period, aren't they? Because they know that the Wii U's dead. They know that the NX is coming, whatever it's going to be called. So now they're in this kind of like, let's paper over the cracks period and just get through it. We know we've got bankers that will pay for us. Pokemon, Amiibo, what's it called?
The thing with the mobile has put their shares massive again, so they don't really need the Wii U right now.
But that gives you a false sense of security, doesn't it? And that's the problem with that company. That now they're like, this console's bollocks, but now we've sold it to a lot of people, and a few people. They've got one.
I think it's
I got one.
Is it 11 million sold, or
yeah, that's poor,
compared to like I think the Wii is like 100. Yeah, it's low.
I think the PS4 is already at like 40 million or something, isn't it? So it's already. I know it's already way surpassed the Wii U in its much shorter lifespan.
The Wii U is actually good though. I still think it's a good console.
Whatever, Dave.
It is. It's just like
Yeah.
It's underpowered. They've got no third-party support, and it was really badly marketed.
But then that's okay. That is an issue. But I think the games they've got on it, the very few games they got,
He likes
tend to be
bad
good.
things.
Yeah, he likes outsiders.
These I've got a Wii U and a Vita, both two dead consoles.
I'm trying to think what I'd even want to play on the Wii U at this point. Even
Nothing.
is
The
it-
Marios are good, and the Mario Kart's
Mario
good.
Kart's
But then they're not like games that you go, oh, yeah, as an individual gamer, they're not something you'd buy. I think as for the reason why we got it is like a little family console thing, and it still works like that, and it's good couch co-op stuff. But yeah, for actual individual games, I know apparently Bayonetta 2 is supposed to be good, but I would not give a shit about playing an individual game on the Wii U.
It's pretty awesome. It's got that Nintendo-ness, that unique Nintendo-ness to it. It's a really good game. It's much better than Pikmin 1 and 2. Yeah, Captain Toad.
Captain Toad as well.
Oh yeah, that's supposed to, yeah. Captain Toad, but then that was just a spin-off from whatever the 3D Mario World, which is a brilliant game.
Do you think they'll delay Zelda until the new consoles?
Yeah, well, that's what they did with the Wii, didn't they? They had a GameCube version and a Wii version of Zelda Twilight Princess, so I could imagine that's what they'll do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not. I mean, that's like one of the crown jewels, isn't it, really?
Unless the NX, whatever the hell it's called, is a virtual reality thing. Who knows what the hell it might be. But
Nintendo, I mean, they rehash games all the time. Why haven't they rehashed more games from, like, right, okay, they've remastered one Zelda game. Why aren't they remastering more games? Like, everyone
sure
seems
they
to
are.
be remastering games.
I bet the E3, I bet 50% of the stuff, I mean, they probably won't even have an E3 conference, but they'll do one of those Nintendo Direct things. And I bet a good 50% of the stuff they show is remastered things.
Okay, let's all pick a game now that we think they're going to remaster for the Wii U.
Well,
Super Mario Sunshine.
It can't be a Mario game because they've already
That's a very
got
good
decent
bet.
Mario games on it. Why
Although
do they
I
need to do
found
anymore?
that
They're all the same.
disappointing. Mario Sunshine to me was the most disappointing Mario game.
I liked it at the time, but looking back, I think it's just because there's nothing else to play. It really wasn't that great.
I think they'll do a deal with Atari and bring back E.T. the extraterrestrial.
God, I hope so.
They'll dig it up. I watched that documentary the other day, actually. It's quite interesting.
Oh, the one where they dig them all up?
Yeah, dig them all up, yeah. And it kind of ruined that guy's career. What's his name?
Mr. E.T.
Mr. E.T.
Never
Spielberg.
liked
To be
again.
fair, if you watch that thing, actually, they asked him, Warner's asked him to make the game in 5 weeks, a month and a half. I mean, like, the fact he made anything at all is absolutely staggering. It's a good
Wow.
documentary, actually. It's on Netflix if you're interested. There are other subscription streaming services available.
So I would say, if we're gonna, I think you're totally right with Mario Sunshine. You probably hit the nail on the head straight away there. But
God, I hope
Metroid
so.
Prime has got a good chance of being remastered, I would say.
Although you can download the trilogy on.
You can, yeah, but
So-
they're not HD.
No, I guess no.
Oh, is it Andy? HD or HD?
HD, kid. Or as Morrissey say, HD.
All right,
What's that,
Andy,
Morrissey?
Are you gonna segue
he's
into?
playing his Wii U.
Are we segueing into Postal 2? I don't know.
Final story of the day.
I've got one more actually. After
Right.
this.
They just
Well,
keep
get it
coming.
right. Get it right.
I don't know if you remember, there was a game a long time ago called Postal, which was a very violent. It was kind of like almost like a GTA thing, but a bit more surreal in a lot of ways,
Actually,
wasn't
a
it?
postman that went postal.
Yeah, you had a kind of Michael Douglas falling down moment, and just went nuts and killed everybody. There was like trailer park trash in there and stuff. But Google's rejected it from the Google Play Store. Says its developer running with scissors, and they've said it's due to the gratuitous violence, but noted that even though Google's made that stance, it has allowed GTA games, Carmageddon, and a load of zombie games to remain, and plenty of others actually. And this comes down to kind of, I suppose, who decides what is too violent, really? I mean, what's fine and what's not? What's fine? Okay, and we've got these kind of new gatekeepers that come out, like Apple, Google, a lot of other different ones, Amazon. And effectively, like, who's this sort of saying that that's fine and that's not? It seems very kind of woolly, doesn't it? You know, and like, how is this game different to GTA game? How is it different to anything? How
Hotline Miami on like the PlayStation Network. I mean, Jesus, that is super violent. And
But what does the actual violence mean? Does it?
Well, yeah, but do you mean violence as in like there's a lot of gruesome blood, or violence? So for instance, Gemma's problem with Mikey watching certain games. She had a problem with him watching Shadow of Mordor, but she's
got great taste. I'd be exposing my child to this nonsense.
But the issue is because the stabbing, the idea of stabbing was much worse than the idea of slashing. So she doesn't mind blood
That's
brawn.
where the line is drawn.
that does read
No,
like
no,
one
but
of those
that
things
does
you're like,
make
you know,
sense. That does make sense. So do you remember the game Manhunt?
Contains lots of slashing and stabbing.
Do you remember the game Manhunt? It's like not killing. Killing's not the issue. It's the way that they were killed. So
That
the
was a
way.
grim game.
Yeah, and it was so like.
Manhunt was it was Rockstar, wasn't it?
Rockstar, and I think there was they did originally ban. It's Manhunt 2. There was something banned about it because
I
of.
think Manhunt got banned as well.
Did it?
Yeah. If I may just read some of the comments on this news article on it.
Can you read out the usernames as well? Because they're always good.
Hell No says, but gratuitous violence is what I live for. And then Your Fetish says, I'll never forget the first time I pissed on a hooker's dead skull in Postal 2.
How many likes has that got?
Not many.
Does it actually have a piss button for when you've killed
I
someone?
don't know.
Yeah, no, but that's Postal 2, which is a lot more violent than
South Park,
the first one.
GIF there. But I think the fact is that, when you ban something, you automatically make a story out of it, don't you? Like, why are we reading this out? Why are we talking about this now? Because the Postal's so old, no one would have found it. No one would given two about it.
That makes me wonder if they've created this whole thing out of nothing. I would love to see the reply that Google sent back to them about why they've declined it for the store.
Because it's crap.
Your game is just rubbish. But the thing, these guys, is it Run with Scissors? They love a bit of controversy, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was sort of semi-manufactured.
Yeah, but it's a bit like the Jeff Minter story.
The reason for that was actually Atari have since said they're going to remake those games.
Mike might do the accent. I can't.
No, but you see that though, the follow-up to that was Atari have announced they're going to remake the games, so that's why they kicked up a big storm about that, because they are actually going to do the games themselves.
Get that accent. Watch the Atari documentary, by the way.
That's actually why we've changed venues because of that impression.
Shall we finish with another violent game?
Well, this actually leads on to quite neatly to the final story, actually.
So Grand Theft Auto is going to have some kind of documentary starring Daniel Radcliffe. A movie. You know more about it than me.
Well, it's a movie backed by BBC Films. And the BBC's kind of been touching on this for a while. It's run a few articles about the British games industry. They're clearly interested over there. They've probably got the same issue that a lot of other places have. Games are for kids, aren't they, though? Games are for kids, so why are we covering them? Yeah, all right, shut up.
It's more games are for kids at the BBC.
Oh my goodness! But basically, they're going to back this film, and what they've tried to do is try to look at it from obviously like an actual story. And this story is all about Sam and Dan Houser were the creators of GTA through Rockstar Games. They had a very high-profile battle with this lawyer, who was he's actually been struck off ever since. And he was known for fighting against violence. So he took on the 2 Live crew, which I don't know if people know was Eazy-E's band after NWA, who basically made some interesting songs about ladies and respecting ladies with your penis and stuff like that.
When I got married, that was one of our first dances.
I imagine it was, yeah. Oh, me so horny.
Yeah.
Well, you did wait until you had got your purity ring, Jack. So basically, Sam Houser took him on and basically tried to challenge him, and it will tap into a lot of the kind of the issues around GTA, ultra violence, the early kind of controversies about how GTA was so kind of like shocking to a lot of people. Running around town, smashing hookers' heads in, pissing on their faces.
You could kill all the Garanja monks in a big line, and then it'd go Garanja.
And so it looks interesting. And the big news, as we understand, is that Daniel Radcliffe, aka Potter, is going to play. He's going to play Sam Houser.
Yes.
He doesn't look anything like him, by the way, so he's going to have to bulk up a little bit.
They've got makeup departments.
Yeah.
I reckon if anyone can do it, it'll be
He wants to take them bloody glasses off.
Radders, HP Saucy, as I call him.
Is he a method actor, or will he just sit there playing GTA now for the next 2 years until
he goes
So,
insane?
what do we think about A, the concept of the movie, B, him playing Sam Houser?
I like it. I think it's good.
Wow.
inside from Jack Turner?
What do you think, Morrissey? That was rubbish.
I think, like we said last time, I think it's a really interesting story to tell, and it also shines a light on this massive franchise, which originated in the UK, and something that we should be proud of, really. The whole legacy of GTA.
Definitely.
It's such a massive achievement.
Anything that can kind of diffuse this thing about the violence in games has been games being for kids and anything that can kind of put a bit of a like blast a hole in that. Really, it's been healthy for the industry.
I think the theme they'll go for it. It'll be a bit like People versus Larry Flint. That's what they'll go for, just to grab as much kind of like focus on it. And I'll be really interested to see how they handle it. Really,
I think
because the tone of it and the stance of it will really show kind of a bit of a litmus test about kind of what these older media forms think of games. I think this is a really interesting movie because it's really the first time that they've ever tried to kind of
present them in a balanced way, basically, without just sensationalising it.
A really landmark way of understanding like how games are viewed.
I think it'll be really sympathetic towards Rockstar. It's got to be, I would imagine.
I don't think they do. I mean, is Rockstar involved in it? I'm not really sure. Or are they just... I mean, they said it's going to be directed by Owen Harris, who does Misfits and Black Mirror. I don't know if that means that also Charlie Brooker's involved, so he writes Black Mirror, so maybe Charlie Brooker will be on the project too. He does like the old video gaming, doesn't he?
Oh, he did that interview with Jon Snow, didn't he? About video games. And actually it was about violence in video games, Charlie Brooker did. And it was awful. It really did show, not Charlie Brooker, Jon Snow. It was just highlighted just all those things
clarify,
about
this
video.
is not the Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
No. Am I thinking of the right guy? Channel 4 News.
I'm just qualifying.
They're two different people.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, but it was really like he was basically saying, "Well, aren't video games the cause of all violence in the world?" and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, come on. But yeah,
because before video games were invented, the world was a very peaceful place.
Very, very peaceful. Yeah.
People were not in any way beating the crap out of each other over the baby Jesus.
Video games did not get any kind of inspiration.
I found the baby Jesus. Oh no, wait a minute.
That's what they need to do next, is a GTA but set in sort of the times, Bible times. Yeah, Bethlehem.
Stone
GTA.
people to death and everything.
Yeah. I bet they'd get away with it more, sleeping with prostitutes. You're just Jesus.
Yeah, Mary Magdalene just whoring. Oh my! Wait a minute! Whoa! Okay.
They could do the Battle of Troy like that. That'd be ace. They could do like a full-on battle that you're kind of like a character within it, doing like going around on chariots and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to say in Jurassic Park.
All right, I think that might be all the quits and continue pub news we have for you today. So until next time. Oh, and remember, we'll be doing The Order and Resident Evil in the next quit or continue book club, for want of a better description. Until next time, we're out.